So now we're going to move on to what is probably the most important lesson in this book, and this is going to be the 4 stages. And I'm going to use the S&P for the example to draw this out. And this is something that, again, every stock, every sector, any investment you can think about is going to typically go through these 4 stages. And we want to look at this on the more broader of a time period, the more effective it's going to be. So when you look at the spot here, again, you see a bunch of candles. It could be very confusing, when you're not that good at chart reading, but very quickly I'll start drawing out some of these stages. So we could see for all of last year, I'll draw this in red since it's a breakdown stage. We can see very clearly this broader breakdown stage. This is going to be when you're going to see lower highs and lower lows. It's a downtrending market. Last year was a technical bear market, correction territory. That's when you're going to see these breakdown stages, just a diagonal downtrend until the stock or market starts to bottom out. Now, all these stages will overlap. So you're going to start to see now as we go into the basing stage, which I will start to draw here. You're going to see that, I'll put this in orange. It's kind of like when the market or sector or stock is at like a pause, it's trading within a range. So now you'll see there's this broader breakdown and there's an overlapping base within that. And I'm going to start removing these colors to make it simpler to focus on. But you can see the market now is trading in a consolidation period or a base where it's stuck in a range. It cannot break above 420. It can't really break below 360. And it's just stuck in this range. And the range is now starting to more recently get a little bit tighter. Now it's 420 versus 380. But that's that pause where the buyers and sellers are not dictating the price action. It's a stalemate in a sense, where with the breakdown stage, the sellers were clearly in control. Now, eventually, if this pattern is to break to the upside, you're going to start to see that overlapping breakout stage as we start to see higher pivot lows forming, which we've been starting to see, and higher pivot highs, which we have yet to see as of late. But eventually in time, you'll start to see that breakout stage forming. And what we're trying to focus the most on, and what we're trying to teach you when it comes to chart reading, is being able to spot the bases or the consolidation periods within the stocks that you're looking at and looking to get involved with them once they start to leave that base and start to enter that breakout stage. And as we talked earlier before about support and resistance, when you start to see those breakout patterns get extended to the upside and they start to flag again, but they break down lower, that's when you start to see those topping patterns. So we use that example of Travelers. The stock broke out nicely. It had this breakout stage, very aggressive up move. It starts to flag or base near highs, but instead of continuing higher, it starts to roll over. And once it starts to roll over, break support, we know our clear sign to get out. Support is broken to the downside. It's time for us to move on. So these are when you can start to spot the bases, the breakout stages, the topping patterns, and knowing when to get out. When the topping pattern breaks, you can avoid a lot of these down moves in your individual stocks. Again, when it comes to the more passive investing, if you're using something like M1, you're not going to really be going too crazy with the passive stuff. But when it comes to more the active swing trading, you want to be able to read these stages and be able to spot the bases, be able to take advantage when they leave the base and enter the breakout stage. And when you're in those names and they're in that next base or the topping pattern and they roll over, you want to be able to have those clues to be one of the first to exit versus getting stuck with it and hoping and praying that the stock or sector turns around. So this is by far the most important lesson in this book. We expand on it more in chart reading later on. Let me go into more detail with all these stages, but this is by far one of the most important things that if you can take from this book and be able to read and spot these stages will help you dramatically in your trading.